broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, let the buzz begin, because we have another episode 5 of Into the Badlands on AMC. This is your AfterBuzz After Show. I'm your host, JB Zimmerman. You can follow me at HeyJohnBlake. I'm with the full panel.
Yeah.
We're all here today.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MGCVSST, so follow me.
Yes, and I'm Taylor Boldt. You can find me on Twitter at Tayboldt, that's TAYBOLDT, or on Instagram at Tboldt, also BOLDT. And I love how that timed out with the music.
It really did.
We still have Alexis in the booth, of course. Alexis, how are you?
Oh yeah, sorry. I feel bad because I didn't want to jump in there because of Taylor had like the perfect.
Oh, it was
Perfect,
epic.
yeah.
Thank you so much. That was so
build
kind.
up to Taylor's.
I'm just going to back up.
But you can find me on all of the are sold at ATorres890.
Nice. Well, yeah, you had your own sound
Yeah,
effects.
so you
you
have
do.
sound effects.
That's great.
There
It's
had
our
to be
theme
something.
music.
Yeah.
That just plays wherever she goes.
It should. I wish we all had our own theme.
That'd be
I
awesome,
mean, I guess
man.
you can kind of
Yeah.
create that with headphones.
It'd be
but
highly
still.
distracting,
I wish it
but
played
awesome.
for everybody else.
Yeah.
And just distracted them as I
This should be an app. We might have just
should
come
be
up with a
an
good
app.
app
It should be an
idea.
app.
Have your own theme music.
Yeah,
Guys, we should do it.
seriously.
We should do it.
But yeah, let's talk about the episode. Snake creeps down.
Another cool episode title.
Very ominous episode title. On that note, this is what I wanted to tell you guys. I
He's waiting.
found
for it.
some information that you might enjoy.
Okay, please.
A few of the episodes, particular 3 through 6, are all named for fighting moves. So since White Stork spreads wings, which is I think where things
Right.
escalated in the title game.
All right.
They've all been fighting moves. So White Stork spread wings is a fighting move. 2 tigers subdue dragon. Snake creeps down, and even next episode, Hand of 5 poisons.
Are we getting a demonstration
Hand
or
of
something?
5. Yeah, I want.
Would
you stand up and
hopefully
give us a
Daniel
little-
Wu can do the demo.
Sure. So are we
Alexis,
believe?
you're a martial artist too.
It's funny because I always was like, that would be really funny if these were actual moves, but I never I'm not as smart as JB. I didn't look it up. But I can find out what they look like, and then I can do a video at home and then demonstrate it.
Oh my
That'd
gosh,
be
nice.
that would
Yes.
actually be awesome.
Yes, we
That
need like an
sounds good.
Instagram and tweeting
I
of
will-
That would be super
I will
cool.
do that. I will
just vine them all.
I will look it up, and I will have some of my friends from my dojo, and we'll all do the moves together.
Oh my gosh,
Excellent.
this is gonna happen.
Very
I was
Okay,
gonna
stay tuned
volunteer,
for that.
But I'm sure that
guys are
looks
allowed to
much
come
better
over
than
and hang out.
the video.
We'll figure it out.
Nice. Well, I look forward to that.
Yay.
Yes, that'll be a lot of fun.
much. But let's talk about the episode. We start again, sort of in the training of MK and Sunny, but it's not a typical one. It's kind of, it's intense. Like it starts
it's
off
a little
normal,
more intense.
yeah,
Much
and
more
then
intense.
we realize it was obviously a nightmare that Sunny was having, which is interesting that he is
He's
having
almost-
thoughts about it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
almost like fearful of this kid now, and almost because he pushes him off. So it's definitely something that's going around in his mind. And I think also just like the pressure of having to make a choice whether to go through the river or not.
Yeah.
I think that's weighing on him.
Right.
It's his demons sort of coming just to haunt him in his dreams. He's like, I mean, he's attached to MK. I mean, he's his cult, like that's a very special relationship. Like we learned earlier that he's never taken a cult before, but he also knows how dangerous MK can be. And even though he kind of shrugged off that the last time when MK like hit him up against the brick thing or whatever,
Right.
and he like went unconscious for a second, it was like, I could have killed you, but you didn't. But there's still that little twinge of like, oh, but you could have though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
If I was Sonny, I'd be like, yeah, but he could have killed me just then had he not passed out at that
No,
precise
yeah,
moment.
exactly. I think the whole nightmare is really eye-opening because it's sort of the only real physical threat that we've seen Sonny have. I
Right.
mean, he has bested everybody. Even in this episode, we'll talk about this later, but his fight with the widow, like
Yeah.
he could have had her. I
I
don't
thought
think
that he did.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that too because
Yeah,
I was like, he
exactly.
had her.
But I mean, he's until now been unmatched. Like he is the best in the
top of the
Badlands.
top.
Right.
He's very well respected because of that, and I think this is the only moment where he's actually been like, oh, well, I don't have control over this situation, and he doesn't know, like, if MK does get triggered, like maybe, you know, if he doesn't have control, if he isn't trained well enough to overcome it, like things could go bad very quickly, and it's kind of an uncontrolled situation.
And I actually really like, because I'm very hesitant to have like dream segues or like dream ballets or whatever inside of a
dream
show.
Ballets?
Yeah, that's a musical term. It's like the Oklahoma, the Dream Ballet is this big. It's like it was an old musical term where there's like a 10-minute dream like dance sequence in the middle of an old school musical.
Oh, it's an actual thing.
Yeah, it's an actual thing. Gotcha. But like I always hated those. And then I kind of tend to think like this could kind of get kitschy. You know what I mean? Anytime there's a dream. I thought this one was so well done because what it showed me is that, okay, he actually is having sort of these doubts about either his own physical abilities with regard to MK specifically, but he can't show that in the real world. Like he can't doubt himself. He can't doubt his strength or show weakness of any kind because he's a regent, you know. But in his dreams, he can get bested. In his dreams, it's like his fears manifest. And it was a really strong opening. At first, I was like, "What's going on? The fort was just attacked. Like, how are they at the fort?"
Right.
I was like, "This is
this training. Like, what's going on?"
Because I didn't get a flashback vibe either. Like, that's the first thing I thought was like, "This is a flashback." But then they started referencing stuff that had happened, and I was like, "Okay, so it's not a flashback. What's going?" And then oh, it's a dream.
You know, for me, actually, it wasn't for me like the physical thing, although now that you guys mention it, it definitely makes sense. I just kind of think that for me, it was like the pressure of Sonny having to make this choice. You know, the price that he has to pay to get through the river, if he's going to use that path, is going to be very steep. So it's like a lot of things just kind of like toying in his mind and just a lot of making decisions and maybe figuring out what to do. Exactly.
There's so many unknowns right now. I mean, he has the opportunity to, Sonny's main mission is to save his, I guess if you can call her his fiance, his baby's mama.
His baby's mama.
And start a family outside of this whole world that he's known. And the first obstacle is obviously MK and his power, that being very mysterious. No one really knows anything about that. And his way out is also connected to MK. Like, does he turn him in there? So there's so many things so many opportunities to turn against MK or sort of protect himself,
and also
that are in direct conflict with him.
He also had some sort of he thought that MK knew the way out to Azra or the way out of the Badlands, right? But it turns out it's just kind of like a jumble. So it's like, do you take a chance there with this kid and be like, okay, well, lead me, even though we don't really know where we're going. Right. So there's a huge amount of unknowns, huge amount of what's going to happen.
Which is crazy to me because I feel like that's the best chance he has. Because the fact that nobody knows about how to get out of the Badlands or if there is something out of the Badlands. This one kid has a way to get out, but it's not clear. Right. But he's probably, for what we know, he's probably the only one who has some sort of inkling that there is something out there. You know what I mean?
The thing is, Azra, like outside of the Badlands, isn't just Azra. Like Azra is a specific place that happens to be outside the Badlands. So with the River King, he promises to get you out of the Badlands, but that could be anywhere. That could be like just some field just beyond the last Baron's control. It could be nothing. Whereas Azra is sort of like a beacon of hope is what it's been established as.
Yeah.
And now we see, Sonny has the book, he has the compass. They're starting to like figure out. I don't know. He was
definitely piecing it together, and it was. There was like a compass place.
It was really convenient.
It's so
worked
crazy
out very
how
well.
the compass only works if you have it inside the book. So you wouldn't have been able to go anywhere.
Well, it definitely was doing something. I don't know if it was working just those two because it was spinning kind of. It looked like to me uncontrollably.
It was spinning uncontrollably, but then it stopped
on west.
But then it stopped.
It was pointing west.
It was west. Okay, I thought it was east, but it was definitely horizontal.
I literally
I have no idea.
I backtracked and watched it a couple times. I think I'm almost 100% positive it was west because I saw east was the other way, so the arrow was like that.
Okay,
but it's pointing somewhere.
I saw the lateral line and I was just like, that's east. Okay, cool. Yeah.
West?
So he has like a cardinal direction now, which again that doesn't.
Which is awesome. awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so maybe he can use that in conjunction with the River King. I don't know. I mean, I think that he's going to have to make that choice. But to me,
I have so many predictions, guys.
No.
I don't
Yeah.
think any of them are going to happen. I have
you
so
have
many
so
things
many.
to talk
Well,
about.
I love that they're using the artifacts. I mean, we've kind of had the book around, we've had his compass around, but now that like they've brought them together,
Yes.
and it's great to see that it's actually doing something.
right, like,
we're-
oh, this isn't useless,
Right.
actually.
Yeah, we got to see some of the pages of the book a little bit more clearly. I wonder if the medallion fits in with that trifecta.
I don't
at all.
know. See, because the medallion, I didn't originally think so, because you don't think of it as being particularly practical,
Right.
especially with regards, like, a book contains information, and a compass can, like, shows you a direction, and a medallion looks cool, and it's not really the same echelon of artifact.
Right.
But it's the only other thing that we've seen have this symbol. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that it plays some role.
Exactly. Well, and also, I mean, we don't know that much about the combo book compass thing that they have going now, but maybe it weeds the compass a certain way, or some, like it's
interesting.
another step into the thing.
Oh,
maybe it's a key to the Azra door.
compass
I don't know.
points to the medallion. And
I don't think that-
I don't think that's
Yeah,
his
wait,
name.
found the medallion.
I think we're getting too far.
Yeah.
This is tangential.
And I'm trying to read this username here. So what if Mash and Suck? I don't know. Says yes, it's West. This show is inspired by the Journey to the West. After all, remember?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
yes,
that
it
user
is.
is totally right.
True
Very good
story.
point.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So I apologize if I butchered that, but yes, that person.
No, it's
is
okay,
awesome.
but good confirmation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is very. I love how everything does add up. There is a lot of thought that they go into. I mean, in everything about the show. I mean, the choreography to the storytelling to like the actual artifacts that they play with.
Yeah.
It all does
The prop
mean
work
something.
is really good. I mean,
You
the
know-
artifacts look awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the questions I think that I had after hearing the widow say she was using the book, trying to translate it to see how like that kid could control his power and get some answers there, is like what would have happened if she doesn't have the compass? Like, can she fully use the book?
Sure,
Could she use it to her advantage? Is she going to get enough out of it? Does she even know like what goes in there? I mean, she had the book. I assume she does. But like, how does that play for her?
And how far did she get in her translation?
Yeah, because she
Does
was
she know?
she was a little reluctant to tell Tilda what was in there.
Right.
No, yeah, I
Very
wonder
basic.
if Tilda might be sneaking around to see like maybe the half translated pages of the book.
Yeah. Well,
Or maybe MK is going to go back to his old ninja sneaking around ways.
that's probably likely.
Yeah.
Actually.
He does like to steal stuff in the night.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. Even if there's almost no chance of success.
Yeah, exactly. Just, I gotta go grab it.
Hey.
Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
I liked the sort of the introduction of Azra as maybe being like they tell Cog kids. There was that scene where they tell Cog kids that they're from Azra to give them
Right.
hope, but it's this false thing. And,
Yeah,
you
sort
know,
of a fairy tale.
Yeah, it's and there's that side of the coin where like maybe it is just like a fairy tale. It is this false thing just to give Cogs hope. And there's the other side of it where what if the Cogs just come from Azra? Like what if they just
Right.
are from Azra? Because we also I thought like, oh, what a massive loss for the fort that they lost all of their cogs, right? There are no more cogs in the fort. Like, how will they continue? What will they do? And then it's just like, oh, we're just waiting for more. Like, more are coming. Like, they
Right.
come from somewhere. There's a steady supply of cogs. So maybe people aren't this huge limiting resource that I thought they were in the first few episodes anyways.
I don't think all of them come from Azra though.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
I feel
also
like
agree. I
Okay.
feel like they come from all over. Where
Right.
just maybe the last shipment was from Azra, and that's what happened with.
Okay.
and maybe that's also like what they tell them about, because I think Penrith, who's the grandfather of Ryder, I think he talks about that, talking about how it's kind of like a paradise that
Yeah.
Right. Well, it was supposed to be like sort of like an Elysium type of place.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
it's like what else is there? We don't know of any other place even referred to
Right.
that isn't Azra or the Badlands.
Yeah, but then also Penrith mentions the outlying territories, which I mean,
The
those I
outliers,
assume
yeah.
obviously I assume they're outside of the Badlands.
I sort of took that to be like, I guess I sort of took that to be like still the Badlands-ish for some reason, like as if it's like the Barrens, like just the territory just beyond what they actually farm.
Okay.
Right.
I took
But
it to be further than that.
It could
yeah,
be. It could
I thought
very
maybe it was
easily
like
be.
there's like not like a purgatory, but like how like there's different levels. Like so, I feel like there's like the Badlands, and then there's something a little better than the Badlands, and then you have like the capital or something.
Right.
Sure.
Very Hunger Games.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
That's why
You count down the districts
Yeah,
into
exactly.
the capital.
Well, no, yeah, I definitely think Azra has to be far away, just because it is so shrouded in mystery. If it was just right outside of the Badlands, they would either see it or some of the nomads, I think, would have traveled there, because there are societies that that rule outside of the different forts,
Right.
and the different, like, I guess, feudal sects.
Sure. Well, if we think like, because my theory is that the River King, that river is the Mississippi River. So maybe
Right.
it's like Chicago. Maybe he like came on down the river.
Well, they're going west, so I'm pretty sure it's California.
It could be LA.
Pretty sure it
Can
is
you
San
imagine
Francisco.
if it was San Francisco or LA? That would be crazy.
That'd be wild.
It totally is.
Yeah.
I
it
love
totally
it.
is.
I think it's great.
I think there's a good chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with everyone in the chat. We're like, we need a map. And
I know.
Yeah,
That
that's
would be
totally
so
need
good.
a map. That would
Going on.
answer so
Yeah,
many
they
I
need
don't,
questions.
to-
know, I don't know if anyone's a last Airbender fan, but we're talking about, we keep talking about MK going into like the Avatar state and stuff in
Yeah.
the chat
Yeah.
thing, so that's what we're all saying. Or I think Jack said that in the chat, that it's like, he's the Avatar. That's what's happening.
Basically,
Yeah.
Well, but you know, the Avatar, it's like when he's at his most powerful, he's also his most vulnerable. He
Exactly.
can die and in that break that cycle. But MK, we sort of learned in this episode, maybe he's vulnerable in that he's losing his life force to some degree.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Life
crazy.
force.
That it's
Yeah.
every time he uses that power,
His
gets
mana.
cut. Like he
Yeah.
gets weaker and he starts to die more, which is insane. It makes
Yeah.
him so much more fragile. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword
Yeah.
that way, where he's the most powerful and yet
And
it's
his
still it
weakest.
weakens.
Right. It's like he's having a mini stroke every time he cuts
Yeah,
himself.
just like-
It's like he's still going.
No,
Yeah, that's a little rough
But
there.
metaphorically speaking, though, it's kind of like, here's the thing: we haven't seen any sort of diminishing power when he gets cut. Like, it's not like every time he's a little bit weaker, noticeably at least, right? And then he passes out, and he seems the same in day-to-day life. So whatever it is doesn't seem to have much of a drag on him.
Right.
And at least if it's happening very slowly to the point where he's got a while before
Right.
it becomes an issue.
But also, you have to remember that he's being trained at the same time. In even slightly how to control his power, even with the last episode, how he kind of came out of it while looking at Tilda. So it's like slowly he is training in it. Not maybe to great lengths, but he's doing it anyway. So maybe it's off balancing just a little bit.
But is that even, I mean, you know, the widow said without training he will die. But to me, it's like if getting cut like somehow reduces his life force, it seems like it doesn't matter if he has control of it or not. Maybe it does. But it seems like it was still eventually going to kill him, right? Unless that's just a red herring, unless she just said that to scare Tilda.
Or maybe it's just the cutting that gets him. So maybe like
Yeah.
if he learns to control it, he won't need to cut himself or
Sure.
get cut to do it. So he can just kind of pop in and out. And
Without,
maybe,
like-
Right, like
Yeah.
maybe it's connected to his
Yeah.
blood.
yeah.
Somehow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, maybe maybe it's not like he loses life force. It's just like there's no antibiotics and he's going to get infected one time. And he cuts himself. I'm sure that there's something
That was a HIV knife
It
that you
is.
used.
Oh no! Well, it's just like
Or
they don't have.
it's just dirty.
They don't. Yeah, they don't really have a medical system as far as we can tell. I mean, Vales does stuff, but she gives no reference at any point to
Right.
antibiotics or anything. And I mean, that's like, you know, cuts can, if it gets infected, like you don't have antibiotics. I'm sorry, like,
Right.
good luck.
Oh, speaking of Vale and sort of the doctor trade, like her parents,
Yeah.
they are actually not cogs. They're like another. I was researching this. There's like another
Tier.
in between, I guess, cogs and.
Do they have a term? Do they have a
Yeah, they're called makers.
makers?
That's
That's like the
so
coolest.
yeah, it's kind of like a craftsman.
No, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
cooler. That is a cooler title than Baron. Like
Yeah.
that's the coolest title.
Considering their fate, I don't think so.
Sure. I mean, like it ultimately wasn't super effective, but I don't know. I like that.
Yeah.
Makers.
Well, yeah, it's sort of a skilled craft that they've
Yeah.
developed. So that's kind of cool. It's like I guess the soldiers, you know, obviously the generals and the sort of
Yeah.
shogun as the baron.
Right.
But
right.
You know,
very cool.
about Vale, actually, what surprised me is that Quinn is actually still lying to her. You know what I mean? Did you guys catch that when he's just like, it was Sonny's blade that did the killing, which is like technically not a lie. However, he's kind of insinuating that Sonny killed the parents. And I'm like, what are you still doing? Like, she's trying, I guess, pit Sonny against her, or you know, kind of like that.
Yeah,
But
no,
I'm
he's
glad that you
definitely-
brought it up because I'm kind of confused because I'm like, why are you doing
Why are you
this?
still
Why
doing
is it-
this?
Well,
why is this important
Quinn
anymore?
is a scheming dude.
Well,
He's a
let's be
smart
real.
guy.
maybe he's just trying to
For
pull
better
them
or for
apart
worse.
so that Sonny will still
yeah,
stay
he-
on his side, control him
He's
more.
trying to break them up. He's trying
Yeah.
to do like
Yeah.
that weird, like guy friend thing. He's like, I'm gonna say all these things, and I hope that you guys break up.
Well, and he tells Sonny not to see her again.
Yeah.
Like he
Right.
straight up tells Sonny like don't see her, and
because
she
he wants
and
all his focus.
And
Yeah.
it was so it was so tingling when he was just like, oh, was it wicked?
Yeah, wicked.
With the
the last one.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, it's so creepy. Also, Quinn was extra creepy in this episode. I don't know how anybody else felt about that, but yeah.
His creepiness has grown over the time.
It has, and I think this episode really like showed me, and I was like, oh yeah, Quinn is just not
he definitely stepped up the creepiness. I mean, I think everything is sort of crumbling around him. Obviously, his health condition is worsening.
Right.
But the Lydia and Jade thing on one side, and seeing like Sunny and Vale on the other, he's got to like sort of stop these alliances around him from happening, because otherwise his control is definitely threatened.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say he cares less. It's that he his tactics are more brazen, in that he has everything to lose at an instant's notice. It's one of those things where, like, I guess his end game is just to not be dying. That's still like his plan, is that he's not going to die, and that's why it has to be, right? Because why else would you? What's otherwise, like, what's going to come of this?
Well, I think it's also just a power play that he's trying to like put on. He's trying to just make people do things just for the sake of doing them and maintaining his control over them.
Well, he even said, like, that thing that happened in front of my Clippers never going to happen again, kind of thing, because he wants this illusion of like power and control, and it's definitely what he's all about.
Exactly. I mean, I think
that's got to be a rough scene to be in front of your soldiers
and show that weakness.
And you can't control it. It's just and they had like the universal headache sound. It's like that like eerie.
I'm so glad you brought that up. So I was kind of like, oh, look at that. We're having that normal headache sound. It sounds like it's like
migraine.
Yeah.
The migraine noise.
Yes.
Exactly.
the tumor headache.
The tumor headache.
No.
Hashtag tumor headache.
It's rough times.
Yes.
So,
He's having a bad day, guys.
But it always seems to happen at like the least opportune moments. I'm wondering if it's like a stress thing. If it's just like
maybe.
Like,
I mean, the time it happened before was when he was about to take out the widow.
Exactly. It happens at the worst moments for him. Like it's at a very pivotal moment.
It the plot disease, where it only happens when the plot is thickening.
Yeah,
it needs to do it. For
my
plot.
tumor's acting up.
Yeah.
Well, actually, and right after that, he gives Jade the control to lead the Clippers and to put them into the poppy field. So awesome. But then that's a huge blow to Lydia, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that, because I saw it two ways. He definitely reached for Lydia as sort of a comfort.
Yeah, when he put his hand on her head, I was just like, oh, hey, okay, we can see what's happening now. But at the same time, I was like, Lydia's gonna get her revenge, but she kind of did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I think so.
Lydia, I think, is much more the emotional support and intellectual. She's been with him for so long.
Exactly.
She was like a kid, I think, when he rode in on a stallion.
With his blade still wet from battle.
Yeah, exactly. And she was
when
just
that
like,
whole conversation was happening, I was
just like, so it was dripping with blood, and you
were into that.
Good?
She's into some weird stuff.
Hey, everybody's into some weird.
Look, there's a reason she's with him.
Yeah.
There's a reason they're together. They're probably exactly the same.
They were meant for each
preacher's
other.
daughter, right? Am I right?
Yeah, that's also true.
Right?
Like, she's a PK. So she's into some weird crap. 1, 2, like. I feel like because the fact that she's already kind of has her own little evil plans and she supposedly killed somebody, I think that they're just on the same boat.
Right.
Yeah.
They're definitely mischievous
They make so much sense
people.
together.
They complement each other very nicely.
Good couple.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting that he's sort of giving power to Jade in some way, shape, or form.
She's so awesome.
She's awesome,
she's
but
great.
my first thought was, is this how the widow happened? Like, is this how the widow... Because that's sort of the same thing with her. Like, she married into power. She married the Baron, right? And then the Baron died. I kind of think she might have killed him.
I assume that's
the
what
widow
happened.
killed the Baron because he was abusing, I think,
Right.
Tilda.
Exactly.
So, like,
Right.
But
Yeah.
a lot of girls probably
more, but I
Sure.
think that was the main one because she has a soft spot for Tildy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then if Vale, like right now, but here's the thing, like right now, I don't know, because we had the whole scene with Jade where we don't know if she's okay really, but up to that point, it was like if Quinn dies, all of a sudden, like, who takes control? Is it Ryder? I mean, he's off doing his own stuff.
I think Ryder would try, but I feel like Sunny would be like, nope.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Slice.
Sunny would just
Yeah,
slice
just, you're
that right
done.
out.
Ninja star from the side.
Kind of Sunny as a Baron. He'd be more fair, I think. He'd at least be more level-headed than Quinn is, I think,
Yeah.
But he has a different skill set.
Right.
His skill set is very, like, I don't want to say subservient, but it's like he will follow orders to a T, and he can kind of do anything under that guise, but he doesn't seem like the take charge and make brash decisions sort of
Definitely
guy.
not. And I don't think Lydia would even allow Ryder to do anything, even if because I was thinking about this while watching it, like, since Quinn is such in a vulnerable state, being so sick, Ryder could easily come in and mess with his IV tubes,
I thought Vale
pillow
was
him
going
to death.
to at least siege the opportunity, not to kill him, but to kind of mess with him a little bit. And she didn't do that, which I'm also glad that she didn't, because now she can kind of play her cards a little bit to show trust.
Oh, she was so playing the cards this episode.
No, it was really good.
Well,
and I think that's what Quinn's sort of best move was kind of throw a curveball and just confuse her with planting a seed. Well, oh, maybe you don't know everything about Sonny, putting these doubts in her mind, so maybe she sort of has to keep him alive.
Yeah, the chat has a lot to say about that, which I'm trying to read here. Jack Harkness says, if Quinn dies, Lydia will probably take over. Chaos 13212 says, no, Sonny is a killer, not a politician. So it seems like a lot of people are kind of up in the air about it, but I feel like Ryder is definitely not a good option.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would try.
No, he's really bullheaded and way too young and just...
But I think it says a lot that we don't have that character that we as an audience really trust with the I mean, really the only character that I trust with the fort right now is Quinn. Yeah. And it's ironic because he's...
No one else trusts Jade? No one else?
I do not.
I trust Jade, but I don't think that she has a shot at it right now.
No.
And I also think that she is gonna be probably pretty messed up for season.
Yeah,
I
don't even trust Jade. I mean, bold prediction. I think that she poisoned herself.
Yes.
To
JB.
set up Lydia.
You mentioned this to me, and I was like, that would be some expert manipulation right there.
Look how far she's risen, though.
Exactly.
Look how far she's come.
she knew about the poisoning.
She did. She knew about the Beatrice killing.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. I think that she poisoned herself. I think she's part of the Widow's whole operation, and she wanted to poison herself so that she can get Lydia in trouble because it's happened before.
Exactly.
And then Lydia's gonna have to go somewhere or whatever, and then Jade's just,
100%. I mean, Lydia is Jade's biggest threat by far.
For sure.
I mean, she's the only truck tire in that road. I think that she'd be dumb if she didn't try to protect herself. Right. I know they kind of set it up where Lydia and Jade were first kind of at odds. Then obviously they have a heart-to-heart over, the poppies.
Right.
And I think legitimately that Lydia was kind of coming around.
See, I'm not totally sure about that.
Really?
I'm not sure. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. It's been too long for this to all of a sudden be like, oh, this sweet thing. No, I think it's a move. I think it's a move on both of their parts.
Yep.
For better or for worse.
Absolutely.
I feel
because
the same way.
Literally in the next scene that we see Lydia, she's right next to Quinn and stretching out her hand and be like, it's just you and me, Quinn.
Exactly.
So that's why I don't think...
You and me against the world. She clearly has not invited Jade into the inner circle there.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between inviting her all in, it's just the two of us.
Sure, that's not what I mean. But I don't know. I just don't feel like that Jade has earned that place yet, really. I mean, she tried.
She definitely has not in my book.
I think what she did is make her feel comfortable, so then she would kind of let her guard down because she was obviously alert after the whole poisoning thing. That's what I feel.
Yep.
And then I think she let her guard down. And even though I like your theory about her poisoning herself, I do think it's
she's
Lydia.
Dead?
I think it's Lydia for sure.
Ooh, okay. Would you think Jade is dead then?
No.
Okay.
No,
I
thought it was
too early.
I thought it was odd. I don't think she's dead. I thought it was odd that she brought soup and Quinn ate the soup and then she was poisoned somehow. So clearly she was poisoned before she walked into the room.
Right. That's why I
rewinded. I was like, wait, did she eat the soup? No, she brought him soup. Someone.
That's why I think that she set it all up because she was obviously in the kitchen
with the same exact way
with herbs.
That's why I thought that she poisoned herself.
I'm hoping we can figure it out by next episode. I'm hoping it will.
Yes.
I think surely they have to resolve that to some degree because it's the last of this segment of episodes. Next episode.
What did you want?
I wanted to ask because you think Jade is specifically working with the Widow, not just on her own interests.
That's why it's split for me because if it is Jade just working on her own turf, then that's awesome, good for her. But I remember, this is skipping really far ahead into the episode, but the Widow said call our contact at the fort. I need to get in. And so I thought that would be interesting if because I can't remember who the other person was who showed. Oh no, it was Sunny who showed her MK how to get out. So I feel like people who are really close to the Baron know the only way to get out.
And you know what? In the preview, like the little preview teaser that we get right after the episode, it says traitors will be revealed.
Yeah. And that's why I think Jade is up to no good.
True.
Personally.
Okay. Traitors, plural. Because there's so much bad backstabbing and deception in the show. It's the best.
I feel like if they all turned around, you would just see a bunch of knives.
Metaphorical knives.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and those catacombs down there are really cool. We got to sort of experience them at the end of this episode. Where
oh man,
there's a whole cool mess of stuff down there, and people can because the widow gets in, and then like Sunny is there, and then Gwen
really
shows up at the
check
end.
out the behind the scenes for that fight in the catacombs.
Yes.
It's really cool. It's on AMC's Into the Badlands channel, and it's awesome.
Okay,
nice.
All the wire work is crazy.
I'm sure.
Well, yeah, she was like literally
really awesome.
on the wall, like standing.
Yeah,
on,
that's why I was
on the
like,
wall
oh,
fighting
crazy.
with swords.
Yeah, when she's like completely on her back instead of her actually pushing off, which a lot of people in martial arts can do.
Right.
She wasn't. Her feet weren't on the ground. She just kind of flew back up, and I was like, okay, sure.
It's like her back bounced off the. It's like she hit the ground so hard with her torso that she bounced like a ball back up.
Just like,
it's like, dang girl, all right.
That's correct.
That's an epic fight though.
Want.
That was so cool. I mean,
awesome
it was.
Fight.
I think that was the duel, the standoff that we were kind of waiting for all season.
We needed that.
So it was nice that they got to play with so many different weapons. Like, you know, they just, like, yes, of course they would find themselves in like a armory.
Yes.
And just like excellent.
Like convenient, like plot wise, very convenient, but for the audience, like very awesome.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm just glad I
super
got to see
rewarding.
that.
So I just let that go. I was like,
what can we put down there
that's
so
perfect.
we can make this fight happen? An armory.
Of course.
Well, it also, I guess it makes, because it's the fort, like they would have an armory somewhere.
Right,
it's not going to be like out in the town or anything. It's going to be that's sort of like the most fortified area, except that apparently there's all these back entrances to it or something. So maybe it's not because the widow can just appear and Quinn can like find himself down there. But I don't know. It is the most, I guess, the most functional space of the fort. You know.
Well, yeah, it's sort of the under skeleton of the whole place. So I bet there are a lot of secret caverns. There are a lot of passageways and stuff, and you can't really guard all that. Obviously, we've learned that Quinn's forces are really stretched thin, so even now more than ever, they don't really have anything. Plus, I think that Sunny was smart enough to actually set a trap for her, for the widow to come in, because leaving his sword in Tilda's dress. Rippings.
Right.
I don't think he would do that unintentionally.
No, I think
it's like we got your
definitely
girl.
lured
Yeah.
her.
Come get her.
And he definitely didn't want to torture Tilda. And I think knowing he was bringing her back to the fort, that's something that you would absolutely have to do.
Right. Interesting. Yeah, because there was that moment where it's like, oh, now he actually has to torture her, which he clearly doesn't want to do. Is he going to do it? How's he going to handle this? But yeah, I think it definitely had to be a ploy for the widow the whole time, which worked out for Sunny in that he bested her, and then for some reason he had her. I mean, she was there. Like he could have ended it all. He could have ended it all and still made it back in time to like see what was going on with like MK and Tilda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he just couldn't. He was so distracted by the MK situation. That's the thing that I was just like, oh, like I just finish her.
Just stab her real quick and then run.
Sure. I mean, I don't think it's time for the widow to die if she does die in the plot by any means. But like he so clearly had her at the end of that fight that
I was hoping that she was going to get captured.
Yeah,
That's
at
what I
least
was
something.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
I wanted to. A lot of people are talking about it in the chat earlier, but we were talking about Tilda's fate. What do you guys think is going to happen to her? I mean, I feel like, again, my prediction, I think that she might punish her a little bit, but I think she's going to use Tilda to get to MK.
Oh, totally.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely.
Well, because I'm assuming that she now knows that MK is...
Well, now,
everybody knows.
Do you
now
think
at this point.
Tilda is not smart enough to figure that out, though? Do you think that she would fall for the widow's tricks?
I know. I think she's going to be open with Tilda and just tell her straight up, like, now, one, you lied to me, then punish it. And then she's like, you know what? We're going to use that to our advantage. And Tilda's not going to like it, but
I don't know.
go with it.
But Tilda already lied once to protect MK.
True.
What's to say she wouldn't do it again?
No, I mean, I feel like she would, when the plan actually comes into play, she'll probably have a different plan in the back of her
Right,
mind and
sure.
then execute it, and we'll just find out when it's happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Or the widow might make some
Interesting.
sort of offer to Tilda, you know, being like, well, if you help me with this, this is going to happen. So it's the only way to save him,
Yeah.
really, or something like that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that she could leverage MK. Like
Yeah.
I have to train him or he will die because she planted
Exactly.
that seed earlier.
Yeah.
So to try to get him that way, where Tilda ends up doing it because it's for your own good, MK. Like you have to do this or you'll die.
I
But
completely agree.
the more we talk about it, the more I'm like, is that because we?
Yeah, I don't
we've
even know if
seen
that's possible. Like Quinn saw what MK could do. He's not going to let him out of his sight for
Right.
a
I feel like
second.
there's going to be
Right.
another fight, and it's going to be about, instead of being about land, it's going to be about MK.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's a success for any of the barons who would possess
Which
him per
is so
se.
Right.
crazy to me, because what would have happened if, let's say, things got out of control and MK just kills everybody? Then what?
Well, yeah,
Well, I mean,
I
He's
mean,
done
he's
that
done that
before.
before, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we just saw the boat
Yeah.
yeah.
thing.
Well, everyone wants to weaponize him, but it's like if he's this unstoppable primal force, like
Yeah.
even the barons, you know, they are safe because they have superiority of strength, right? Like they can fight and their regions can fight and then their clippers can fight, and that is their safety net. All of a sudden you bring back a boy who's kind of like a free radical anyways. Like he's kind of just like bouncing all over the place, stealing medallions, whatever, books, and like gets out at night all the time, and you're trying to weaponize him, but you bring him to your like home basically. All of a sudden it's like you don't necessarily have control over him because if he gets cut, he's stronger than anything that you have at
Right.
your disposal. It
And-
seems very what's the word? I mean, dangerous is the word. What's the atoms are like volatile. That's what I'm trying to think. It
Nice,
seems very
okay.
volatile.
Yeah, no,
You're just pulling out
Yeah,
thank
all
you.
the
The
words.
vocab here, it's good stuff.
vocabulary.
I definitely agree. I think he's not easily controlled because, you know, he doesn't want to be a part of any of that. He just wants to get home. And now that he is the even slight ability to stop what he's doing and kind of focus on Tilda, I guess, is his one moment
Yeah.
of zen.
Yeah.
But, you know, just having that, like, ability to cut it off short makes him really hard to keep as a weapon.
Right.
I mean, if that's what they're trying to do and say, like, oh, I'm going to protect my fort because we have this Super Saiyan werewolf
Yeah.
guy.
Well, but see,
Well,
but
this
it's-
always comes back to Dragon Ball.
It's
Exactly.
yeah,
Full
it's so
circle,
relevant.
full circle.
Avatar, Dragon Ball Z. But what I'm saying is that even if he's like you're trying to use him to defend your fort or to take someone else's,
Right,
right?
exactly.
But if he gets cut, if you're using him to defend your fort, your territory, or whatever, it's not all, they're not all called the fort, but in this case, the fort.
Right.
Then it takes someone gets cut and he could kill anyone. Like he could kill you. He could
Exactly.
But
it's not
I'm-
like.
Well, yeah. Plus, I mean, you can't just keep him as a slave because if he's pissed,
Yeah,
then
then
he's obviously
he's-
going
like,
to.
he's
kill
gonna be
you
in
if
charge
you
in a
cut
way,
him,
you
yeah.
know?
I'm just worried because it doesn't seem like it lasts very long.
That's true.
So I also
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know
It's
if
really
they have
quick.
to train him for him to have more stamina or
Yes,
something. And also,
MK.
if they keep
He's
Yeah,
just a
stamina
little
boost.
premature.
I just got that.
good job, Maria.
It's even funnier the second time.
Welcome back.
Wait, but on that, you're right though, because when he's fighting Tilda, when they're at that graveyard or the
It
cemetery or
gets shorter
whatever.
and shorter.
Well, that one was actually long because he was like engaged, I feel like. But this
Yeah.
one, it's like once he had his one moment, once it was like over what his purpose was, it's like then he
Yeah.
falls out.
Yeah,
It
That's what
seems
I'm
very
saying.
purpose driven.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's-
feel like if that's why I think that the widow's going to use Tilda a lot, because the fact of that maybe that'll be enough of a drive to get him
Right.
to do.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it's less about defending your whatever you control and more about just kind of like cutting him and dropping him into like a bomb, like
Go.
into like someone else's territory.
Right.
And just being like,
Go, my
have at
pretty.
like
Fly.
you set up a
Fly.
purpose and then just send him off to do all of the handiwork. I could see that being the
Yeah.
appropriate
Well,
way.
yeah,
to
I think,
organize him.
and
but in the meantime,
experiments on him too. I think
Sure, yeah.
you know, obviously it's connected to blood some way because it unleashes when he gets cut. I think they would harvest his blood. You know, especially if he's getting weaker and weaker every time.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, they just want to bleed him and then have like
Yeah, just bleed him out.
drink his
His
blood,
face, she's just
drink his.
like,
It's like
"No."
something.
Delicious.
It's very,
MK
it's
blood.
very like Temple of Doom.
Well, no, I could see Quinn doing that. I mean, partially because he's so sick, but also because he's like a psycho, and he's trying to do anything he can to get
Do you
better.
think maybe
know?
Oh.
this is gonna get
No,
really
this
out of
is-
hand? I feel
yeah.
like right now, but do you think maybe after Quinn figuring this kind of out, will drink his blood.
That's what.
Yeah, no,
we literally
yeah,
just went to the
that's
same
what I'm
place.
saying. Yeah, that's what I'm
I was
saying.
like, wait a minute.
But what if it cures
yeah.
it? Like, what if it has the power to actually cure Quinn? I mean,
don't
we
think
don't
so.
know what this blood is.
I don't
That's a
think so.
possibility.
I don't think it's going to cure Quinn.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
it's just
Rub it
going
on
to-
your temples.
But do you think he might
just
try though?
apply 3 times a day.
He might try it though. It might not work, but he might go for it.
I think
Yeah.
he's up to try anything. So I wouldn't. I would not be surprised if he's about to do a bunch of experiments on MK and say.
But we
let's-
also
MK, run, just run.
just get out of there, please. But we also don't know if he believes that he's dying still, because Vale did tell him that she had a shot.
Right.
So he might not. I mean, I'm sure he's concerned
True.
about it. I'm sure it's on his mind. But
Well, yeah. I mean, it just takes one more headache for him to be like, okay,
that's worth a
let's
shot.
drink
Yeah,
that
that's
blood.
true. Yeah.
Let's drink
give it
that
a
blood.
shot.
Shots.
All right. Well,
All right.
I think that's a good
Is that how he's
prediction.
gonna do it? Drink
Yeah,
that
just
blood.
line 'em up.
Drink
line
that
'em up.
blood. Shots all around.
Oh.
That sounds terrible.
Oh no.
But yeah, I felt bad for oh gosh, his name
Bale.
Bale, yeah.
He was a douche nozzle, but he didn't deserve to die. That seemed,
douche
that seemed
nozzle.
like a bit
Sure.
much.
Well, yeah. I mean,
That's what he is.
he and MK went from like friends to sworn enemies.
Enemies.
Like
Yeah.
he's like,
does-
yo,
I also
you
love that-
insulted my boo. Not okay.
Watch
Not
out.
okay.
I love that Tilda went Mike Tyson on him though.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
Oh
that.
yeah, that
too.
was fierce.
And she has like a super creepy smile afterward, all dripped in blood. I'm like, you
Yeah.
go, girl.
I
That
love this
was-
actress.
that was
the fact that
fierce.
she was
All right.
smiling with it just like dripping down her chin. I was just like, all
JB's
right.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
Some like that section, like that, like
He
sort of
probably
like.
thought it was hot.
I was probably into it.
The blood look actually is not my thing.
Yeah.
Contrary to
Oh,
popular
shocker.
belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the same boat.
Yeah, I think we all can kind of agree on that one.
Well, I
But-
think Maria's.
Sure. Well, I
She's-
guess
a little bit.
you
I guess
brought it
everyone
up,
should
so-
speak for themselves. But
I mean, look at that smile.
I
She's all
know.
into it.
I have a creepy smile going on.
I loved the scene. I loved the scene with the just because I want to talk about it while we still have some time. I loved my favorite scene the whole episode, which is kind of crazy to say, was the bear trap scene, because I thought that was the coolest. I just thought the execution on that
Yeah.
scene was
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah, the
spot
compound
on.
fracture too.
Oh yeah, everything right into that. But like the acorns, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
the acorns
that
falling
like
and
roundhouse
stuff.
kick
Oh.
to the tree branch was super cool.
So
Although-
smart. Yeah, it's just Sonny's brilliant. Like Sonny is just so brilliant.
I'm
He's
also
just
really
so
upset that his
martially
his-
adept.
I mean, I know that he's a regent, but like the other Clipper didn't realize that he should, do the
Right.
same thing. He's just walking around. He's
Yeah,
like,
just
oh, my
Yeah, I'm
boat.
just gonna
We
just
literally-
take care of that.
Sonny's got
This
this.
awesome
it's fine.
scene with all the bear traps, and then we just hear in the distance.
I just wanted to hear, I have fallen.
But I actually was surprised that Sonny, knowing that, being so intelligent, brilliant, smart,
Couldn't
like,
say anything?
No, he grabs MK and flips him around and like flings him backward. I was like, "Yo, bear trap? No, that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
gonna be back there too." Like, you
I
don't
thought
know.
he was just gonna put his hand like just
Yeah,
like
just
back
stop.
up,
Right.
like,
Hold
stop.
up.
But no, he
No.
was just like, I just want to flip you because
That's-
you're getting on my nerves.
That's too
Right.
quotidian for Sonny. I had to throw that word in there. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's too
We're-
that's
we're-
too
we're
it's too
SAT.
plain for
What
Sonny.
What is this word list that you have?
Yeah, I just have a
Just
thesaurus.
circle it.
These
No.
aren't
Yes,
notes. This is a
yes.
dictionary.
Yes,
Just
Say,
like
do you have one of those
the
calendars with
thesaurus.
like a word of the day?
Oh,
Like you-
Or
I want like a word of the day
toilet paper.
advent
Toilet
calendar.
paper.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
the
go.
toilet
Oh.
paper.
Friends.
Nice.
Is that where you got it from? Okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
I didn't know that was a
Me
thing.
too. That's what I was thinking of.
Cool.
That's
Okay.
what I thought the calendar.
I should get that though.
Yeah, you should get that.
If
It's right up
anyone's
your
wondering
alley.
what to get me for Christmas,
Word of the day toilet paper.
that's what I want.
I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I was talking to the chat while we were talking.
Ooh,
I
excellent.
think we all can technically, since we were talking about Maria's smile and everything, I feel like we can cosplay as the cast. What do you
Ooh.
think?
Tilda.
Yeah,
I'll take
I was
Tilda.
Like, Rick
You guys
can be
should.
Tilda,
You
Jamie
should.
can be Sunny. I can be Vale, and I don't know what to do about
Yeah.
Ryder.
What am I gonna
You
do?
gonna do Ryder?
Ryder.
I could just like glue some stuff to my face and pull Quinn.
Yeah.
You could.
Nice.
You could
Yeah.
do that.
Glue some stuff
My
to my
blade.
face.
You could be MK.
Sonny's blade that
technically.
did it.
Yeah, just
I
get
gotta work
go a
on the
little
accent.
But I
gray.
just
Maybe
think
be
it'd be-
Waldo.
I
A
think
chair,
it'd be
just roll
cool
around a
if
chair.
we have like a season 2 or whatever. We should all dress up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
I tell you what, maybe for episode 7, if we get like the episode 7, maybe for that one we all dress up as characters. What do you say?
I'm down with that.
Yeah?
Sure.
I'm down.
Yeah,
Should we
when
say
come
that?
back
Should we-
from the- when we come back from the
Yeah,
holidays.
just
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
Cool. Work on
Christmas
it.
list. Samurai sword.
Yeah,
I
lots
can
of
get
cool
JB.
red
I
leather
have
vests.
Kill
I have
tabs.
so many samurai swords. I could just give you one. That's
Okay,
fine.
there we go. We got the
I will
hookup.
take it.
All
I
right,
accept.
That's
I'm
good.
so excited. Everyone in chat agrees.
Yeah, awesome.
I also need a motorcycle and a full leather suit.
I will figure that out.
We can fit a motorcycle in here.
I think we can. We
there's plenty.
You know,
Just
take up the
put-
whole studio, guys.
Nice.
I've got to grow out my beard a little bit though if I'm gonna pull
You
off
have
Quinn.
to
Start working now.
Yeah.
Maybe
Start
Ryder. Maybe
working
I'll go
right now.
Ryder.
Yeah,
Maybe
just
I'll-
no shave December.
Yeah, and from now on.
until
Until we're back.
it's over.
Exactly.
So yeah, if there is, hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed, there is a season 2 in episode 7. What do you guys think is gonna happen? Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
I'm
like,
still
Getting into predictions?
I'm still excited for episode.
I want to talk big picture because I think Taylor, you're not going to be here next week either.
Right, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to be here next week.
It's
Unfortunately,
gonna be a ladies show.
It is.
Alright.
It is. It is. So yeah, I mean,
That's
let's
fine.
talk about obviously next episode, which we got some teasers in. But I want to talk more. I really hope there is a second
Yeah.
season. So I do want to speak broad strokes.
No, I like
here.
it. Let's go big picture. Let's
Do
go
it.
beyond the next
Yeah.
episode. Like, what's the long-term predictions? I think that's good. Can we get it? Can we
Exactly.
get
Yes, I was gonna do
predictions?
this.
I like
I was
Yeah.
waiting for
Cue
you
the
to
music.
finish. Jeez.
Taylor really likes the
you.
theme
I
music.
really love this.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Oh, the
Nice.
lights.
I have to.
It gets me in the mode.
I am the ghost of AfterBuzz TV.
I am the ghost of
It's perfect
AfterBuzz
during the Halloween
Future.
season.
The ghost
Future.
of AfterBuzz Future.
Go for it.
Present.
Nice. All right. Yeah. So, do you guys have any percolating?
I'll let Taylor take
thoughts?
this one first.
Okay, yeah.
Do
So,
it.
I think that Jade is going to be fine. I think that Quinn is. I think she's going to, because Quinn always talks about how much she admires people who take power for themselves. I think that's Jade in this scenario. I think she takes power for herself. I don't necessarily think that she is an accomplice of the widow, though I could easily see that. But I kind of like to think that she is somehow going to, with Quinn still alive, either he hasn't died yet or he finds some way not to die, take everything from him the way that he took everything from the cogs, because that was sort of her. She's very righteous for the people, so I think that's that's her
Interesting, yeah.
goal, and I think that she'll either get there or she'll get close. That is my prediction, but I also don't know if that's going to happen next episode. I think that's going to be something that becomes more of an ongoing thing, assuming we get episode 7, 8, etc.
All right. I literally think that now that MK's, it's kind of like words going around that he's special. I think Ryder is going to come into play as well, and I think he's going to also want a little part of the action. So I think we're going to see a lot more like power play with him coming along, because I saw a lot of tension in that scene where they're talking about the pendant and whatnot. So I think they're going to go at MK real intensely. That's what I think. At least for the
Yeah.
next episode.
No, absolutely.
In terms of long term, I think there's not going to be a structure the way we see it right now in the show. I think that either the cogs are going to uprise because they have someone like Jade on their side that's teaching them things, that's being like part of the people. And I think if she survives, which I think she will, she'll be part of that movement. So
you think it's like anarchy? Like
I
we're
think it'll
moving
be a
into period of
little,
anarchy.
a little bit of anarchy going on, a little bit of revolution.
Yeah, I like that. Break down the system. That sounds cool. Because then it's just like open world.
Well,
like
and it might just be like
sandboxy, anything could
huge
happen.
war. You know what I mean? Kind of like a revolution. Just everything changing. At least trying to change the structure because it's not working.
I like.
Interesting.
Very cool. What do you think, man?
Ooh, I think that it's all gonna go down in the Badlands in episode 6. I think that now that the cat's out of the bag with MK, Quinn is gonna be all over him, trying to capture him, and I think that's sort of the rift between him and Sonny. I think that's where Sonny just goes off, and I think he's going to kick ass and take names, possibly kill Quinn and Jade.
Sonny?
Sonny, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he might not kill him in cold blood, but he's going to steal back MK. I mean, he has so many reasons. Even if, he's his only way out. Like, literally,
Right.
if he kills MK or if he doesn't, he is
That is
still
true.
the way out.
His fate is tied to MK
Right.
one way or the other.
So he has to go forth, and he can't be stopped by Quinn, especially now that he's sick and he's going to be acting irrationally, no doubt. So I think that the fort is going to fall, and that's how MK and Sonny get out. And I think that the widow might have a play up her sleeve, and maybe she kills Quinn or she kills Jade,
Right.
and then takes over the fort, and sort of they are following MK and Sonny, I think.
I agree with you with what you said about Sonny and Quinn, though. I feel like this is where loyalties break because
Yeah.
of MK. So So
Let me ask you this. I mean, do you think that the whole Vale Sunny situation, do you think that works out? 'Cause I don't. I don't think it works out.
I think, unfortunately,
I don't-
I feel
well,
like they're
no,
gonna kill
I
her.
want it to.
I think it has to, because otherwise he loses his motive to leave.
But
if-
he gains a motive for something for completely other things.
Yeah,
he becomes super dynamic. You know, and
Right. But so say
I mean, I think that,
say Vale gets killed, and Quinn just
Which
takes
I
her
don't
out.
necessarily think that's
Okay.
exactly what would happen. I just think that. I just don't think it like all works out. Like they get out of the Badlands and like start a life together somehow.
Well, no, I think even if they do get out, they're on the run. I mean, they
Yeah.
still have the River King to deal with. They still have
and we don't know what's
everything
out there.
in between.
I just don't see a happy
Yeah.
ending for the two of them, unfortunately. Though, like again, like you want it. I just
Right.
that's too. It's two rainbows and butterflies.
Well, yeah,
for this.
I don't think it's definitely not like we're at the gates of Azra at the end of episode 6. But
That would be a lot.
Yeah.
It's a big episode, guys.
I think they
lot
definitely
happens.
make a break for it, and I feel like the sort of the necessary piece of work that they need to do before that is to take out Quinn, because he's sort of the only person I think that could run the fort, and the fact that the widow has been so aggressive towards him, trying to take him out, means that other people realize that other people know that Ryder is not an heir to the throne.
Right.
I mean, Lydia, is she even like?
Yeah.
Can they even be?
But even
Another
if people
widow?
don't think that Ryder could be an heir to the throne, or that Lydia maybe can't man it on her own, it's not going to be the end with just Quinn dying. I don't think it's that simple.
No, for sure, but it lends credence to what you were saying with like the system could fall apart, like the structures.
Yeah,
All of a
that's-
sudden, there's a power vacuum, and there's no one really to fill it. Like it seems like Quinn took power from someone who had power. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
an easy transfer of power, and that there was never a vacuum, there was never a collapse. It's just one powerful person lost it to another person who's now has all that power.
But that creates so much tension. So at some point, it's
Right.
got to implode, I feel
Well,
like.
yeah, it's like right now, if Quinn dies, there's no one who can assume who can fill that void. So there's a void, and so all of a sudden things start
Right.
rupturing at the seams. I want to go to Alexis.
Yeah,
I want to hear
Alexis, predictions.
I want to hear some
Sorry,
predictions.
I didn't know I was reading the chat. Okay, big picture predictions. I feel like I can take everything from what you guys said. You guys all kind of took parts of what I wanted to talk about. I think Vale's gonna die before the next. No,
Really?
sorry, no. Bring it back. Sorry, I think Tilda's going to die.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
I
Don't
feel
take
like
my cosplay out of
no,
it.
no.
You can still dress up
cosplay
as
Okay,
Tilda.
good. Okay,
That's
fine.
not going to
That's
change. Hold on, let me see if I can fix the camera angle here. Okay, so I think Tilda's going to die at the very end because I mean this is crazy speculation, because I feel like MK and him are going to be like, we can finally run away because Quinn's dead and this and this and this, and then like last minute something like hits her in the back and she's like doing that whole number and she falls over.
Oh, gosh.
That's one.
You have-
that was that
you have,
crazy
like,
prediction I thought.
You have a
of.
storyboard of how it
Yes,
happens.
that's how my
You have
brain
specifically.
works. So that's one. I do think Quinn's gonna die, and I think it's going to be by either Jade or Lydia's hand,
Whoa.
so that they can figure out a way to one of them's going to take over the fort. But I
There's
also think
definitely
the
gonna
fort
be
is still going
backstabbing.
to-
Ooh,
yes,
ooh.
but I also think the fort's still gonna go down.
You don't think it'll
either
be
way.
Vale to
Interesting.
take him down?
Or
I don't think,
Ryder.
I don't think. I also thought that Ryder could be. The
I think
one to
that Ryder
technically
might
take over,
try.
but I think Ryder's gonna get backstabbed as well.
Yeah, he's gonna get. I
feel
feel
like
like
he's
You predict a lot of
he's
death.
gonna get killed
He's gonna
pretty
go.
soon.
in the near future.
And that's what happens back here, man. It's
Yeah,
live.
bloodbath episode 6.
But yeah,
Wow.
I feel I don't think it's gonna be too crazy. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of changing, and I do want Vale to survive in this because I feel like them leaving the Badlands, there's a whole different journey we'll get to. But I don't
Right,
think they're gonna make it to
sure.
the boat. I think they're just going to get out of the fort region and then move on to a
Yeah.
different barren
Right.
area.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think they're gonna be
eventually
like
get there.
on the run.
I think there's going to be another way to get to Azra or wherever.
Yeah.
Besides taking it across the river.
I
think that's where we're going
Using
to continue.
MK.
Because I feel like we can't get out of the Badlands yet because it's called Into the Badlands.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is
Yeah.
it's like I don't see us really getting out of the
No.
Badlands at least until like the end of the series, like the end of the series. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's sort of like I think that
Well, no, I
almost
think
all of the action
then
is
we
going to
would
take place
get
in the Badlands.
to the Azra. 'Cause I feel like,
maybe that's the ending is that we get to Azura.
First season
but-
is into the Badlands. Second season out of Badlands.
out of the
Badlands. Or into Azra.
Into Azra.
It could be, maybe.
Yeah.
There might be like a Midlands.
Yeah,
or,
there's the okay lands.
Yeah.
The
pretty
road
good
to
lands.
Azra.
Yeah. Decent
Instead of the road
lands.
to El Dorado, the road to Azra.
Yes.
I think we're going to be in the Badlands for a little bit longer, and then maybe we'll see maybe a little bit of Azra, or flashbacks of Azra, and what the world.
I hope so. I would love to see some Azra.
I just feel like this is a good time now that we've established a fan base and established a story, and we love the characters to a point. That it's
Love to
enough.
hate 'em.
Yeah, exactly. That it's enough of meat to continue this stew of craziness that we are boiling here.
Stew
So-
of
Definitely.
craziness.
and also
Yeah.
I'm hungry
My
now.
favorite dish.
It's at that time of night where I'm like, I'm off of work soon.
Yeah.
I'm
Stew,
hungry.
yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like there's going to be it's kind of like how Walking Dead is. It's very paced very well, and then that very last couple episodes, that
There's a
it's just gonna
curveball,
be-
of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be chaos, and there's gonna be at least 2 deaths, at least 2.
All right.
in this next episode.
Yeah, either this next,
I
yeah,
can't
or
wait.
last episode.
I can't
We
wait.
should make a bet on that. If there's
I think we should.
Like
If there's over under
over under
If you
exactly
can-
over
if
under.
you can call it death
Of
for
main
next episode.
characters?
Yes,
Like
even side
2 main
characters,
characters are gonna die.
if you want.
Ooh, I
I'll-
need
I'll-
some time to think though.
I'll take you up
Okay.
on that.
Go
Bet. I think that it's gonna be 1 main character dies.
Okay, yeah.
So
I-
1 or
yeah.
less.
Yeah, 1 or less.
Okay, we'll figure out what we're wagering.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We can do
Nice.
that.
We have to do like the show in a mustache or something.
I
Like the
will.
next
I
show.
will wear a mustache proudly.
Okay, great.
I don't
great.
care.
Nice.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
But no, I think I'm only saying 2 because I feel like 1, they can't kill off Quinn already. I don't think that's going to happen this episode. I think it's going to happen for big picture like later on. But I do think either Tilda or one of the either Jade or Lydia is going to die.
I could see 1 dying. I have a hard time thinking 2, but
Yeah,
I
but
think
yeah,
that would be
continue.
dynamic if they did.
Yeah, I'm
It
saying
could
for
happen.
like what like the rest of the either next season or the rest or whatever is going to happen. I feel like one of those characters is not going to make it until like for the long run.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I won't be here next week, but if there's this episode 7 and you see me in a mustache, you'll know.
You'll know why.
Alexis was right.
Actually, it's
Yeah.
going to be a full Quinn beard, is it not?
Yeah.
Right, I
I'm
guess
thinking,
that would
yeah.
count. Okay,
I mean,
yeah,
I'll wear
sure.
a Quinn beard if I lose, but
Okay, that's
I
fair.
think I was hoping this was my like extremely crazy prediction. Now that Bale's dead, I was hoping that since Vale's a doctor, I was hoping maybe there's a different doctor that can like manipulate faces, and they can take his head to the River King.
Ooh.
So that they can get across without
Whoa.
killing
Yeah, I mean,
MK
I definitely had
and
thought
change his
about how
faces.
like similar they did look
Yeah.
sort of throughout and kind of in
Oh.
the background. That's a
Interesting.
really good
Maybe- yeah,
prediction.
That's what I
wow.
was thinking of because technically they're the same age, they're the same height.
And
they're
it's
the
a
same-
drawing, right?
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
drawing. You can change
Yeah.
it to whatever. They don't have
Yeah.
actual pictures,
That's
so they could
smart.
technically change, like give him some facial hair or make his hair, something.
Yeah.
And then they can cut Bale's hair and make it look more like MK, and then give him the head.
Right, but then
Interesting,
okay,
yeah.
and they just have to give
No, that's
MK
a
some
really
plastic surgery
very
to get him
astute
through.
Something.
observation.
Something. It doesn't have to be crazy because it could be like, oh, he's older, or they didn't get this picture right, or something.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
just you
the
drop
head's
the
enough.
poster in mud.
Is it just me or did we
Yes.
kill? I feel like we killed these predictions, and I don't necessarily mean that we got anything right, but these are very creative.
These are awesome. Yeah, just the writers
Yeah,
are
we
like,
could be
oh,
totally
wow, yeah,
off,
we
but-
should totally add that in.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't
Like,
know.
oh, these are good ideas for next season.
Yeah,
AMC, I hope you're listening.
I'm just throwing stuff out there because I feel like they can do a lot with this show. So I feel like anything can go. It's like
Yeah,
Game
that's
of
true.
Thrones, Walking Dead, like just people just dying.
Yeah, I
and
mean it's such
changing
a
up the
it's such a
game.
crazy web of people and interrelationships that it's super
Yeah.
exciting to figure out and come up with the fan theories. So
Yeah. But
fans, listening, please tweet ABTV.
Yeah, let us know.
Into the Badlands.
Badlands.
Let us know what you guys think. Comments.
I also want to thank all of our viewers who are watching. We have like 30 people watching now.
Nice.
A little bit higher
Yay.
earlier,
Awesome.
but guys, our producers here and the staff and stuff, we all found out this past staff meeting that you guys have made one of our shows one of the top podcasts, and that's really awesome. And that means that we can get more people. Like we had, obviously, the amazing actor who plays MK. He was on our show.
Yes,
So
Aramis.
the
Yes,
more-
Aramis Knight.
Yeah, so the more we do well and the more you guys get on iTunes and YouTube and stuff like that, we can get more people. Maybe Daniel, you never know.
That'd be awesome.
Ooh.
But, we're trying. So if you guys can tweet at the actors or tweet at the show or whatever and let them know and see that our ratings are really high, we can get as many people as we can up in here.
Right.
Sounds
And yeah,
awesome.
I mean
Thank you
I
guys
think
for
that
that.
goes beyond AfterBuzz TV. I mean, obviously we want to keep doing shows for you you guys, so that helps
Heck
us
yeah.
directly. But I mean, being involved in that fan culture definitely helps the shows like in real life, like get other seasons. So
Yeah.
definitely get involved.
And
Yeah.
we want to cosplay.
And we
I
will
know.
not- Episode
I
7.
know.
Episode 7.
I can't get that
Needs to happen.
motorcycle and leather suit from Alexis if there's no.
Someone said to give you a red raincoat.
We're gonna be the jankiest
That will work.
cosplay.
That will
We're gonna
work.
come in episode 7
That's
like.
probably much more likely.
It's not going to be impressive, but hey.
I'll just
We tried.
draw
Sorry, we
armadillo.
Yeah, if people who are the 100 fans, I cosplayed for our finale as a pretty major character.
Nice.
So I feel like we can do it. I have a lot of costume attire. We'll figure it out, guys.
All right,
Nice.
let's do it.
Very
Going to be
cool.
writing
I have
Alexia's
faith.
closet.
Why not? Yes, that too.
Awesome. Well, yeah, until episode 6, obviously we're not going to see us, Taylor, but the girls are going to hold it down. Where
yeah.
where
What's
can
up?
everybody keep up with everybody?
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Taybolt, that's TAYBOLDT, or on Instagram at Tbolt, also BOLDT.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at MGCVSST.
Awesome. You guys can find me at Hey John Blake. And Alexis, where can they find you?
You can follow me all over social media where Alexis Torres are sold at atorres890. Don't forget, guys, my 100th vlog is coming up. I have 2 more left before I hit the big 100. So use the hashtag AskAtorres890. We can talk about anything. We can talk about things that are dirty, silly, funny, whatever. I would love for you guys to ask me, and I check that hashtag every day, so please check it out.
I'm going to be asking.
Yes,
Cool. Nice.
please.
Sweet.
Very awesome.
Well, yeah, until next episode, you'll see these guys. Until, fingers crossed, episode 7. We'll
yeah.
see all of us back here.
All right. See you then.
Bye, guys.
Later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.